My name is Tashlin, and welcome to our time management workshop, where we'll be talking about everything time and how to manage your time efficiently. I found an interesting quote actually, if you would allow me to share. Time management is an oxymoron. Time is beyond our control, and the clock keeps ticking, regardless of how we lead our lives. Priority management is the answer to maximizing the time that we have. It's by John C. Maxwell. So for this morning's opening and purpose of the day, I will not delay, but call upon Ms. Depale. Me, the floor is yours.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, our program director, our guest speakers who are on the program, who have taken their time to prepare and come and share their knowledge with us, colleagues, and most of all, our students who made us together this morning. May I take this opportunity to welcome you all in our workshop. And before I can indicate briefly what the purpose of this workshop is, I would like to indicate to you that when I prepared for this time management workshop, I asked myself a question, which is, what is time? Because time is something that we deal with every day and something that everyone thinks they understand. Whereas when you look at how people do their things, then you will come to understand that most of the people are unable to manage or to master their time effectively. Therefore, program director, may I think I'm still on time. May I take this question before I can indicate the purpose of this workshop? May I pose these few questions to our colleagues and the students who are here to say, do you ever have the ability to manage your time? Do you stick to your planned activities? Are you organized? Do you take time management very, very important? Or it's something that comes and goes? Do you work harder under pressure and receive less? Or do you work smart and achieve your set goals? So these are the questions that I wanted us as individuals to ask ourselves. Then I will right away go to the purpose of this workshop. Fellow students, may you please stay with us up until the end of the workshop, because at the end of this workshop, you'll be so much empowered. You will be so much empowered. You will have skills, you will have strategies, and you will have tools that you need to be able to manage your time effectively. Therefore, the people who are on the program, they are going to share with us. That is our guest speakers. They are going to share with us. We have Mr. Makahane, who will be presenting on time management. We have Ms. Mathanyan Deni from DSAR. We have Mr. Kolile Gaba from TEL. Therefore, please give them a hearing so that you can hear what they are saying about effective time management. At the end of the day, you're not going to regret, but instead you'll learn how to manage your time effectively. Thank you so much.
And without further delay, I think I'll hand over to Mr. Makahane for his time management presentation. Mr. Makahane, we welcome you.
Right, as I've mentioned, my name is Patwan Makahane, and then I've mentioned that this workshop is fast-paced, and at most people who have used this information, they tend to be very successful in whatever they do in their lives. Either it's private life, either it's work environment, they tend to be prospering. Why? Because they put this into practice. So it's very important for you students as well that if you manage to follow the tips that we're going to be providing to you with regards to time management, you are more likely, that is the probability, 80% of those people, or 95% or 99%, based on the research that we had, have managed to accomplish whatever they were doing because they started to develop a new way of how to manage time. First and foremost, I would like to say to you, time is a commodity which is provided to everyone equally. That is the only thing that God has presented to everyone equally. Water is not presented equally. Some people are still using the water which is contaminated in some places. Sun is some places don't have enough sun and so on, but time is 24 hours a day, so it's all about how you utilize it. For example, it's 24 hours a day. If you're a working person, which means that 8 hours perhaps you are used to working, 2 hours combined it's used for traveling. Therefore, out of 24 hours, you have got 10 hours that is already consumed. Then you sleep 8 hours, right? So therefore, that becomes 18 hours. Then you are left with only 6 hours to do a lot of things, watching TV, eating, catching up with families, and so on. So in fact, it means that each and every individual in this life have been given this commodity, which is time. But sometimes you sell it to other people, then you get money out of it. When you're working, you sell your time to the employer. When you are doing your private business, you sell your time to your own business. So therefore, this is about a trading. So time can be traded. So therefore, time can be used in economics, time can be used in psychology, time can be used everywhere. In every sphere of your life, you are more likely to be using time. So this is the commodity which is afforded to everyone equally. But how we utilize it, that brings us about the different outcome. So therefore, time management is a practice of strategically arranging, organizing, scheduling, and budgeting. That's why I was talking about the accounting and economics. This is the borrowed concept from economics. You budget time. So that is why some people hear them saying, I'm behind time, I'm ahead of time, I'm not on time. All those kind of things, they all come back to the issue of planning. Are you arranging or organizing one's time with the aim of increasing your job efficiency and production in an organization and production in your life? Therefore, time management is referred to a deliberate. This is not a coincidence. It's not an incident. It's a deliberate regulation of the duration allocated for a particular task, like sending emails from 8 to 10. I'll be sending and responding to emails from 10 to 12 o'clock. I'll be having a meeting with my management talking about this and that. So therefore, that is when you are organizing your time. So if you're an administrator, you know about how to make a calendar or how to make a timetable and so on. This is very important and interesting because failure to do so, it will lead you to be a poor person who are unable to put production into place, and the ineffective and the efficiency will be affected as well. So therefore, why time management? Why do we say time management is important? Why? Because at the end of the day we are living, man. Well, who cares? So there are benefits which are individual benefits. Then also those are the also things such as things that you keep in mind when you're budgeting those time and so on. Enhancing the balance between professional and personal spheres of life, because sometimes you are working for someone or working for an organization or working for a company. So therefore, we need you to be a professional person. And being late sometimes when you are going to go to do some businesses, it becomes a problem to other people, and it affects the organization very badly. And therefore, that will also affect the way in which your organization behave itself. Imagine when you are a student, you wanted a service from UNISA, and they find that Patwani is not even coming to work and they did not report to you, and whereas you made an appointment with him. So therefore, that becomes a problem. So that's why it's important for anyone who's working for themselves or for organization to have a balance between a professional life and a personal life. That's why time is so important. Management is so important. The mitigation of stress and its associated with a consequence has been shown to enhance productivity. So therefore, time management, if you manage your time properly, it reduces the effect the stress can have on you. Most people are stressed in life, that those who are unable to manage their time. So if you manage your time productively, it helps you to be able to communicate effectively as well. So therefore, the stress level will go down. That means that you will be able to be a productive employee, and then the company and organization will see your production. Your studies will be able to see the good results because you will be able to study and show everything in mind. That's very important for you to note that having manage your time properly, it reduces stress and it increases your productivity, your study productivity, your work productivity. So all those aspects infused in time, you will then start to understand that time management is a the thing. So things to keep in mind when you are managing your time. There exists a distinction between the concept of busyness and productivity. Some people are very, 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 or extremely busy doing nothing which is productive in life. You ask them, test me, what will you be busy with? I have been busy the whole day, but there's nothing to show off, right? But people who are managing time, they only use less time and they're very productive. There are some people who come to work 8 to 5, but there's nothing to show off. But some people come for only 30 minutes or 1 hour. They are very productive. That is because they have managed their time. So you go to library for 8 hours, but there's nothing that you know what you have been studying. Somebody come for 2 hours. They have already finished assignment and they've already prepared for exam. That is the difference between business and productivity. Being busy does not necessarily mean that you are busy doing the right thing. Sometimes you are busy doing the wrong things all the time. So it's important for you to manage time so that you can be productive. If an individual is engaged in activities that do not align with their objectives, they might be described as preoccupied. You might be very preoccupied, but with things that does not mean anything. Those are things which are of no use. In the better concept, they say they are useless. But I say to modify it so that you mustn't fight with me. I will say these are the things which are of no use. Right? So I don't want to fight with my students. So therefore, I'll say things of no use. But in actual fact, I'm saying they are useless. However, if an individual is engaged in activity that are aligned with their objective, they might be considered productive. That's why I say time management means or leads to a productive life, productive student, productive work employee. So therefore, every time when you manage your time, you must know that you are able to be productive in all spheres of your life. Effective time management is crucial for enhancing productivity and achieving optimal outcome within the constraints of available time. So therefore, you need to work within the time that you have allocated for each and every task, because failure to do so, it will affect the time that you reserve for other things. So other things will end up not being done because they are not being given enough time. There are something interesting here that, like I told you, that time is borrowed from all spheres of life. It can affect your accounting life, those who are doing accounting. It can affect your personality life, those who are doing psychology. That's why we talk about time personality. That's where we talk about an issue of self-knowledge, wherein you have to know yourself. When you know yourself, you prioritize punctuality or maintain a more laid-back approach to time management. A laid-back person is a relaxed person who don't care much about it. But then we look at the people who are punctual, because when they're punctual, they come early and complete their task on time. But don't just be punctual and then there's nothing accomplished on time. That becomes a problem. So therefore, we're talking about this because this is about your time personality. So then you are going to also focus on the issue of what is the preferred time of the day that I'm more likely to be effective when I'm studying, when I'm working. So am I a morning person, afternoon person, or an evening person? As for me, I'm not a morning person. I am rather an afternoon person. But not in afternoon and evening, I can work better on those 2 times. But I'm not a morning person. I hate to start work at 6 o'clock so that I can do things when I'm still active. But some people amongst you, there are those who are very good when it comes to the morning. They can even wake up at 3 and start studying and so on. I don't like that because I like my sleeping. So I would rather work from 10 o'clock going forward until maybe 10 o'clock in the evening. I can then be able to be productive. So you need to look at your time zone. Then that helps you also to schedule your work environment, and also speak to employer when you are being employed that I'm an active person during this time of the day. So I prefer to be starting my work from this time and work until late. If you work from home as well, it's easy to be traceable that those times that I've mentioned, you are very, very interesting on that part. So therefore, my manager has brought me some letter here. Slow down. You are too fast. You know, having a manager in the office sometimes is a challenge. So therefore, then it's preferred time of the day. We're looking at morning, afternoon, or evening. So from today onwards, you are going to look at what kind of what type of personality of when it comes to time are you. So that is why there on the left-hand side, I wrote Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 6 o'clock. Saturday, 8:30 to 1:30. And bear in mind, we took what Sunday. I think I should have put Sunday as well. However, also being considerate because there are people who don't work on Saturday at all due to their religious affiliation. And there are also those who don't work on Sunday at all due to their religious affiliation. So you can swap around. This Saturday becomes your Sunday for those who don't do anything on Saturday. And then you can swap around those who are working on Sunday to use Saturday as part of the thing that you can infuse. So therefore, when we talk about this, and sometimes when you are studying as well, you have to also think about the issue of doing a study timetable, wherein you will be understand what the study timetable is all about. How should it be like? Like, for example, don't be caught up trying to think that you're only going to focus on one module for the whole day. You better work around a challenging module together with those that you say they are easy to do modules. Then you balance them. This time, from this time to this time, you do a challenging module, then you relieve it with a soft module. Don't do all challenging modules at the same day. It will demoralize you. Like, for example, those who are in the College of Economic and Management, you can't do accounting and economics at the same day, one after the other. Rather do accounting, then you relieve with business management, which is a theoretical work, or another modules there, which I do not know much in business, which is a theoretical module, to relieve the stress that you might have encountered when you were busy with accounting or economics. So therefore, your timetable must be flexible, and it must allow you enough time to be able to balance between the two. So therefore, that's why sometimes when we talk about a study method, we talk about the 60-minute study or 45-minute study and 15 minutes break or 20 minutes break, depends on your schedule. And on break, you will be relaxing or busy with WhatsApp or other things. Forget about books on that time. Right. Then there's an element of time management. The element of time management, therefore, be aware of your time. You must be time conscious. Be aware of your time wasters, things that waste your time, like WhatsApp notification, Facebook notification. Those are time wasters. Friends who are of no use, who just want to call you and disturb you because they are calling you to say, let's go for a party tonight or weekend and so on. So those are time wasters. You need to prioritize because this is your life. You never have another life except this one that you have now. Wasting this precious time and life now, it will affect you in a long run. And this time wasted now, it will never be regained. So therefore, use your time wisely. Right? Beware of your priorities. So therefore, there's things which are emergency, and there are things which are urgent. So then you need to distinguish between the two, whether it's emergency or urgent. So therefore, you make sure that you prioritize them based on those scenarios. Self-management. If you cannot manage yourself, you cannot manage time. So poor time management means that you are a poor self-manager. So therefore, every sphere of your life, it will be affected because you cannot manage your time. If it's a relationship, you are always going to be late and give excuses. If it's a work environment, you will always be late and give excuses. That is why we have come up with the time personality. Rather, choose the time that you are active on so that you can always be on time and you can be able to manage your time wisely. Management of your personal resources, things that are under your care, you need to manage them, because if you cannot manage them, therefore you have failed to manage time. So therefore, management of personal resources, it also affects the way in which you can work your time. So goal setting and measuring achievement. So you need to set goals. There's a short-term goal that you need to achieve now, and long-term and mid-term goals that you can achieve within the period of time, and a long-term goal which you can achieve after a period of time. Therefore, short-term goal is about registration. I need to register and pay for my studies and do assignments. Those are short-term goal. Mid-term goal is to write exam. right? Long-term goal is to achieve a degree because it takes 3 years or so, or 4 years or whatever to achieve that. So you need to structure those things. When you don't have internal motivation, it affects the way in which you set your goals. And when you don't measure those goals, then you have a problem. And don't be too hard on yourself. Sometimes the goals cannot be achieved on the set time. So therefore, that does not necessarily mean that you're a failure. It just means that you have missed the point. Then you go back to the drawing board and start planning again. So don't be too hard on yourself. Buy yourself ice cream if you do not achieve things that you wanted. That is a concrete motivation. So therefore, you just say to myself, but I have achieved some. I have managed to pass 4. I got supplement of 1. I did not give it enough time. So therefore, I don't have to kill myself for that. I just need to work hard again. And I know that I've added much work for myself on the upcoming semester. Then we have got also components of time management. They have got a planning. You plan your things in advance, organize your things, material, and so on. Then you delegate. Sometimes if it's a work environment, you delegate to so and so, please do this part for me. Like this workshop, somebody has to do somebody in the background has to work around the slides, has to go and do the research. I have to come in and say, okay, you know what, this and this I don't like. I think it must be taken out. Let me rather work on these slides. This one's work right for me, and so on. So those are issues of delegation. But when it comes to your studies, there is no one whom you're going to delegate. There's no one you're going to send to do research for you. You are going to do it yourself. So managing interruptions. So therefore, remember, the time wasters becomes the things which affect the way in which your interruptions will be, because the time wasters are the one which interrupts your time and what you have managed. Then have control for everything, from planning, from organizing, delegating, and manage interruptions. Right. Having said that, we have got a planning. A plan is a roadmap set in a real time to reach an objective. So therefore, you need to plan. If you are going to drive from here to Eastern Cape, you need to plan the road. In Eastern Cape, which road I'm going to use? Is that N2 or N3 or whatever the road they're using there, or M17? I don't even know. But you need to know, right? If you said, okay, I'm going to Cape Town, but I heard Cape Town, there's a taxi violence or whatever. You need to know, okay, if they are using this, then rather I use a flight. Right? Because if I drive, I'm more likely to go to the wrong roads wherein I will be caught in the crossfire and so on. Those are the roadmaps. So that therefore you need to look at the things, but you also need to focus on the end goal, the goal that you're going to focus on, because you cannot plan without having a goal. The planning is to make sure that you achieve a goal in the shorter period of time with the easiest method. To begin the planning process, you need to identify your goals, and the goals can be strategic, tactical goals, operational goals. So strategic goals, those are long-term. I have already spoken about them when I told you that about the long-term goals. 3 years takes you 3 years to complete a degree and so on. Tactical goals will be those exam, because within every 6 months you write a semester modules. 12 months you go to all the 12 modules, you pass all of them. Operational goals are short-term goals. Those are assignments, exercise, studying, preparing for exam, and so on. So those are the aspects that you need to infuse if you are a student. So for working students, it's about balancing work and study. They need to understand that now that they are studying, some of the things or leisure time need to be discarded, and they remain with the things that will only matter for them and matter for their future, because some of the things are not necessarily, and they are time wasters. So avoid or reduce the time wasters and increase the number of objectives and goals that you need to achieve. Then we also have the SMART goals. When deciding on goals, it is essential that they are smart. We who are born during the oldies, we born during the time when they used to be having a phone called BlackBerry and Nokia 5110 and 6110. During that time, we used to have things that last a lot, because there was no Wi-Fi and so on. So our battery life for Nokia, because it was receiving text or making a phone call, it will last for 12 hours, while it's still in 99%. So your goals should be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. And then when I think about SMART, I remember there was a shop called Smart Center. So those were the formal and nice clothing, So therefore, those are the times, So their goal must be smart. They must be specific goals. They must be measurable. And then you must measure them, those goals. If they are not measurable, therefore you cannot be able to attain them. right? And they must be relevant for your thing that you want. And every time, timeously, you must go back to check them if they're still relevant or you are achieving them as according to your planning. Then we've got a short-term planning. Short-term planning is something you do weekly and daily. So every day you need to study. Every week you need to have a program to say, I've achieved 1, 2, 3. That's why your objective and short-term goals and so on. To do this, you should work out how much study time you have at your disposal. So you must manage your time, and it's important for you to also think about how much time do you have at your disposal. You need to draft a master schedule which you can use as a basis for weekly and daily planning. So therefore, you cannot do without a schedule or a timetable which can tell you that this week I'm going to study only these modules, and this one I'm going to study from this time to this time, and make sure that you stick to time, although you mustn't be rigid, because sometimes something comes in, whereas I spoke about urgent and emergency. There might be an emergency in the process, but you must always be flexible to go back and recorrect what you haven't done. Long-term planning. The basic objective of long-term planning is to gain an overview of the academic activities over the whole year, and to make sure that you keep track of all important dates, such as submitting assignments. Remember, some assignments, if you don't submit, some modules don't have exam, so you won't be allowed to pass that module. You are going to repeat it next year. Remember, that is time wasted, money involved, that's your personal resources, then emotionally involved, that is your also personal resources, which can lead you to stress. And you see where the stress, when you talk comes to time management, that is the issue. We talk about productivity, because when you are stressed, you are more likely not to be productive. Preparing for group discussion, if there's any online or whatever, then you meet and do the group discussion. Preparation for exam, that is wherein you discuss this with your lecture and look for the possible question on the previous question paper and so on, and work around them with your colleagues. And then do not plagiarize, because even if you work together, make sure that you make your own notes, which you paraphrase, because if they look like somebody else, that will be deemed a plagiarism. And then if you fail, they're going to take you for hearing and then suspend you for 5 years. Okay? So don't say I did not tell you, because I'm telling you in advance so that you must know what the do's and the don'ts during a group discussion. Ensure that you meet all your commitments on time. So every time when you are doing your things, then the commitment that you are going to do, it must be simple and straightforward, and make sure that you meet them on time. Why long-term planning? Peace of mind it gives you. You have planned ahead, so you have got no problem of sleepless night. So if you don't plan ahead, you are going to have a problem of peace of mind. You are going to think too much, then you develop headache. Then headache makes you not to do anything. You are more likely not even to write exam or to study further, because you're going to develop headache, which can prolong to become a migraine, because these are stress-related issues. It's not just a normal headache, but this is a migraine based on the issue of stress, because you failed to manage time. You can regularly check your progress. This could help you to motivate you. So you continuously go back and look, I'm doing so well and so far. That becomes a motivation, and you can give yourself a tap on the back, say, oh, I did so well. You know that you will not forget important dates. So therefore, that is the way you're going to know that my assignment has to be submitted these days, my things has to be done this date, and so on and so on. So that it becomes easy, because you have got a schedule to work around that. Overall results of planning, then that will help you to cope with academic anxiety. This anxiety is a result of studying. So therefore, if you plan ahead and you've got time at your disposal, you are more likely to cope with academic anxiety. Reduce exam anxiety. There are some people who are very scared in such a way that they can even faint due to think about writing as exam, because exam is not used. I think now there are more people who are relaxed now, because they write exam at their comfort at their home, without supervision. They are their own supervisors. So therefore, the exam anxiety to some, it has been reduced. Not to see somebody moving behind your desk thinking that they're checking whether you're writing the right thing, even if they don't know what you're supposed to be writing. So you are scared, you're worried about somebody coming and look at your things and then thinking, gosh, maybe they're checking whether I'm writing the right thing. Why they spend so much time behind me? So then you become anxious. Keep you motivated. Allow you to maintain balance between what is required and what is available. So you are going to use what is required to cater for based on what you are having at hand at your disposal. Eliminate time wasters because you are aware of them. Then the moment you know time wasters, you are going to reduce them, and therefore they will be able to you will be able to become productive because you know them, then you avoid them, you then use your time sparingly. Steps in organizing. Prioritize all tasks to figure out which tasks are important, not important, urgent or not urgent. So therefore you got to look at that. This is not important, I discard it. This one is urgent, I need to start with this. This urgent and important, they go hand in hand. You start with urgent one, which are important. Non-important and non-urgent, you discuss them because they are of no use. They will waste your time as well. They become time wasters. Next, block out the tasks that need to be completed by their due date. So therefore, you just say, I'm going to focus on this because they have got a due date which is at hand. I need to finish them as soon as possible, as soon as yesterday. So therefore, you start working on those ones. The most important first and moving on to the less important. So the most important are the one which you start with so that you can have enough time remaining for the less important one, and you can have time remaining for you to have fun and time as well. Highlight all important milestones and due date. Ensure that you give adequate time for your top priorities. So each and every of those tasks that you have given yourself and say they are urgent, then make sure that you highlight and then make the priority for them so that you can be able to work around them within the limited time that you have given yourself. Make a list of activities that you would like to complete. Score all the activities from 0 to 5. 0 means highest. 5 means highest, 0 means less important. So therefore, you will start to see which one is important for you and so on. Score all the activity based on the required effort. Then also you have to mark it from 0 as less important, high important. Use the matrix to decide whether you complete the task or drop the activity based on the matrix. Some of them, they will be deleted. You drop them because they are no longer important. Some of them, you have to complete them because they are increasingly important. Here are time wasters that are well known, which I have identified, which other students have identified, which other employees have identified. Then we'll put them as a part of the improvement plan because you need to improve in your life, whatever you do. Procrastination, the thief of time. Postponing until you're not doing it. That is the problem. Most of us will do that. When we got tasks which are difficult for us to do, we start to postpone it until the due date come and pass because we cannot do it. That's what we talk about procrastination, which is the biggest time wasters and the thief of time. No clear plan. If you don't have a plan, if something are not planned, you are more likely to go nowhere. So therefore, you must have a clear directives and what you plan ahead for that. Fear of failure. So people who are fearing to fail, they are more likely not to do anything. So and the fail means a first attempt in learning and learn again until you pass. So it's not a bad thing. It's just that you did not learn enough or you did not learn what is required. So if you learn next time, do it differently, then you can accomplish the task without any difficulties. Inadequate resources, when you don't have enough resources, personal resources, you are more likely to end up wasting time trying to grasp on things that you cannot understand, like you are using a wrong phone to type your assignment without a smartphone or without going to Unisa library or computer lab to use their computers there. So those are this kind of thing that is time wasters because you are more likely when you are typing there in your phone, a call comes in, then you are out of the screen, you cannot even find it in your phone. Where did it go? So those are time wasters. So shifting priorities, once you touch to shift them, then you are more likely to have a problem as a time wasters. So don't shift that as well. Control, revisit and revise your schedule. So it is important to check whether your plan is working and check how you are actualizing using your time. So every time, go back and revisit. Is this working? If it's not working, should I drop it? Yes, drop it. This will help you to identify the deviation between your planned and actual float schedule. So if you go and visit, it's easier for you to track of what is working and what is not working. You then need to alter your schedule and revise your plans for better time management. So therefore, you are going to be able to work around altering your schedule. But you know what, I've been trying this, it does not work. Let me try to do this. That's why I said you should always be flexible and don't be too hard on yourself. We also make mistakes as well, even if you think we are experts. We also make mistake and we'll go back and correct our mistakes with changing our things. The distinction between us and you is that whenever we understand that we are not in the right track, we go back and revise and check and work around it and not be too hard on ourselves, because we are human, we make errors. So those are the things that you need to remember, that you are not alone on this one. Attitude, you need to portray a positive attitude to help you stay focused and motivated in managing your time effectively and successfully completing tasks. Negative attitude won't take you anywhere. That is why positive attitude is the only word which can give you 100%. Positive cannot give you 100%. Money cannot give you 100%. If you trade attitude alphabet with the numerical number, A meaning 1, you can do that at your home or anytime after this. You just write A, T, T, I, T, U, D, E. D is 4, E is 5, U is what, T, 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 what. You add them together in I, then you get 100%. So positive itself, it cannot give you that. Money itself cannot give you itself. Power itself, it cannot give you that. So management as well, it cannot give you 100. So the only word that can give you 100 is attitude. So only positive attitude are promoted. So negative attitude will never give you anything, except that you will be stressed and then you become destructive to the self. Characteristics of a positive attitude: you become enthusiasm for an enjoyment of daily activities. You become happy when you are doing your task, taking responsibility for your action and feeling good about success. Generally cheerful mood and positive emotion, appreciation of others and yourself. So that becomes issue of positive attitude. Motivation to get the job done. You become motivated that you can accomplish task. Flexible to make changes when needed. So therefore you will know that when I'm doing this, so I am more likely to finish my work. Ability to make productive, effective use of time. So those are the aspects that you need to consider. So we have got achievement management, casual management, crisis management, precision management, social management. Achievement management measures as these are the people who are more likely to be easily stressed, but there are some positivities about them. But the worst most people in this regards are crisis management. The crisis management are these ones who are always on crisis because they do not manage their time effectively. Casual management are they don't care people. They are mostly the procrastinators. When they say, let's do a research, you are going to write methodology. They take 6 months to do that. And then when the rest, you give them only a week to do so. So precision management, it's a perfectionist. They always wanted everything to be done perfect. They are more likely not to accomplish anything, because even if they are finished, they go back and redo, which is time wasting as well. Social management, they are too much into playing time, this one. They always lose much of the time, too much of playing. Although they have got excellent communication skills, this one, that's why they are socially. So achievement management measures success based on how much they take. So they are always conscious, this one. They want achievement. They always. And such people are viewed to be helpful and dependable because they always like to achieve. But they should be balanced. You must be balanced. Sometimes, even if achievement management, you must also have a excellent communication skill, which means you borrow some of the things from social management. But the one which is the one in the middle, the crisis management, it's a no. Because these people, they are more likely to suffer from stress. Why? They are always in crisis. Right. Achievement management to help with their overly committed schedule, such individual can benefit from. You see, they are achievement oriented, then they can benefit from to-do list. What must I do? So that they must work around the time. Supply list, they can have things on their hand. Casual management, such individual can benefit from timelines. When is the due date? Alert system, electronic reminders, they must have that. Crisis management, different type of visual reminders can use to remind and help them to focus. Desktop calendars, alert. Social management, portable alarm like watch and mobile alerts can help remind such people to keep their interaction short and get back to task at hand. Precision management, they can be assisted by daily planners, keep track of time. And those are the aspects that you need to understand. Right, we have got also food for thought. May I inquire as to whether you are now occupied with tasks, busy people, or responsibility? It's a question to you. Is your level of productivity very high? Are you productivity oriented? Which one are you, our students? Having said that, part one says, thank you very much for listening and keep on listening. There are some presenters coming after me. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I would like to then call on our next presenter, Ms. Martha Nyandeni from DSAR, to deliver a presentation on assignments.
Talking about time management. So Mr. Makahane has already given you a presentation and explanation on the importance of time management, which colleagues is very, very important. So on my side, I will start to say that, effective time management starts with a clear vision and goals. So he also touched on the goals, but it's very important, students, especially, even this information is important even for us, even if we are not students, but we do have visions for our careers and for other things in our lives. So a vision is very important, I think, and it's the compelling factor which has landed you in UNISA coming to study here, because you as students, you have a vision for the future. One day you want to become CEO, you want to be the president, you want to be the whatever, an accountant, you want to be an engineer. So that vision that you have for your future is the one that compels you to be sitting here today, being a student of UNISA and listening to this important thing, a presentation on time management. So you must write your vision down, students, and keep it somewhere, what you want to be, so that it can be a constant reminder of why you are going to be suffering as you are studying. Because we must say that, studying is not an easy thing. It's not for the weak, and it's for people that are really determined and they want to achieve something out of their lives. So also, as my colleague has said, he talked about planning, which is very, very important. As you can see this diagram, I mean, our lives are full of many other activities. Like right now, it's not only studying, we are still parents, some of us, we are still, you have your jobs, you've got many other things, and there's, also crisis, external, internally. So our lives are not straightforward, so they are complicated. But I just want to quote Benjamin Franklin, who said, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. So planning is important so that you can succeed. But if you didn't plan, then there you are guaranteeing yourself to say that you will fail. So it's very important that you need to do planning. Mr. Makahane has already talked about it. It's just about your time management, and you prioritize what is important for your life. You put all your things in order, your ducks in a row, and you know what is important. And he has talked a lot about all this, what I'm presenting here, this slide, also to eliminate distractions. I find that much as social media is important and it's informative and controls our lives, but it's a time waster. It takes a lot of our time. It distracts us from doing very, very important things. And even, some companies are worried that it also affects production. So the social media and the WhatsApp, because it's constantly beeping and, taking your attention from the important things to WhatsApp. So I think we should be able to eliminate those distractions that make us not to achieve our goals. And then the importance of time management is that if you manage your time, You will be productive. If you have set time to focus on your assignments, write them, study, and put all the required information in place, you will be successful. You will achieve your goals, you will become productive, and you can be able to manage your life far much better if you manage your time. Because if you don't manage your time, you will not know what your and you may find that your studies are going to suffer a lot, because to put aside time to study is something that is very important, but it's a skill. It's not anyone who does that. Some of our students, beginning of the year with the New Year resolutions, they register, but then you see as the year progresses, some of our students fall off, some don't submit their assignments, they don't get exam admission, and you know, all that vision that the student, that the person had at the beginning of the year, it's just, and I must say that you know, if you have a vision and then you along the way you fall off your vision, you become stressed by that as well. So it's important that in the process of you doing your planning, your vision, and everything, that you remember that you want to finish the race, you want to achieve your vision. So my story is about of your assignments. As you know, that you see later in the presentation that your assessment has got various aspects. You've got your assignments, which is your tuition and learning, preparing you and equipping you and giving you the knowledge on the subject matter. And with all that, you are preparing yourself for the exam, which will come later in the year. So for now, I'm just going to focus on the assignments, hoping that at a later stage, towards the exam in October, before the exam starts, we will have another session where we will talk now about your preparation of the actual examination. So assessment is an integral part of teaching and learning. As students, you know that, I mean, from the time that education was discovered and how you can teach and how you can impart knowledge, you know that the way in which you can be, somebody can test that you have grasped what has been taught is through assessment. And we know that assessment can be a very stressful and all that, but the results thereof, once you've written an assignment and you get the results, you become excited, and you know that now I have put my effort in this assignment, and now I have gained knowledge in that particular subject, and you know that that is also part of the preparation for the examination. So also in UNISA, we are aligned to the strategy, the Odell policy, and we also have the assessment procedure manual. So we've got the rules that govern us so that we apply first. Because if we've got the rules, then if a student comes and say, my assignment is late, I couldn't submit, we go to our policy to say, how do we deal with that? And that happens also when another student comes. But if we don't have a policy, you'll find that we will favor some students and some students will be disadvantaged. So the policy helps us to implement our assessment procedures. So you can ask yourself, why assessment? Said assessment one-on-one, and you are discussing about what the history of psychology, the different kinds of psychology, educational, psychological, and all that. Then at the end, you want to see that you have understood the content, and hence assessment is very important. And I know that traditionally, we still believe so much in examination, and you know, some people are very anxious and stressed when it comes to examination. Some even block out, you know, when it comes to examination. But as part of assessment, it's something that has to be done, and preparation of that is far much better. So as you are aware, now coming to the actual assessment, in UNISA, we do have the 3 types of assessment. We've got the formative, which I'm talking about now, which is all your assignments. And then you've got the summative, which is your exams, which is usually written at the end of the semester, at the end of the year. And then UNISA has got a new way of assessment, which is continuous assessment. So with continuous assessment, as you'll see in my next slide, there is no formal examination. But what happens is that there is assignments that you are given throughout the year, throughout the semester, and they contribute towards your year mark. So, and this is your final mark. So when you are doing continuous assessment, every assessment that you submit, an assignment, contributes towards your final marks. So continuous assessment, just make sure that the lecturer is keeps in contact with the students on a regular basis. As you know that, our institution being an Odell, sometimes we are very much removed from our students. And, UNISA is moving away from that era where students had to get only 1 or 2 assessments and then they write the examination. So continuous assessment is engaging. It makes sure that the lecturers are in touch with the students and that you get your feedback as you go along to master the content of whatever module that you are taking. So I think with assignments and as well as with examination, those ones are clear because those are the forms of assessment that we do throughout our schooling. Once we start school, we know when there we get grade 4, 5, then we start now with exams and all that. So it's familiar. But with continuous assessment, it's a new thing. It is an ongoing and periodic systematic assessment and evaluation of students during the process of learning. Use various assessment methods throughout the tuition. So with continuous assessment, you are spared from that big exam where, you have to know everything and master everything and go into the exam room with it. Instead, you are being evaluated on an ongoing basis. And the way in which continuous assessment is done, you may find that it's assignment, normal assignment, as well as for the School of Engineering, there's also tests, and also for CA, there's also tests where these tests are proctored, that we use some proctoring tools in order for us to invigilate the students during the test. Because, we are used to that examination mode. So if we move to continuous assessment, some students or heavy is not meaningful enough. Hence, they also introduce the test. And as well as these tests are required by the accrediting bodies. As you know that the qualifications are accredited, like your engineering are accredited by EXA, which is a body of engineers. So we need to make sure that whatever it is that we do, we do not reduce the quality, but rather we add on it to make our assessment more acceptable and also competitive, because we are not the only institution giving those qualifications, but we still want to make sure that you are at par with the other institutions giving the same qualifications. Then the other thing is that the year mark becomes your final mark. So with continuous assessment, once you go onto the module side and also on your tutorial letter, the lecturers will explain that this is a continuous assessment modules. Make sure that you rather do all the assessments so that you increase your chance of doing well. And then also on the continuous assessment, you find that some of the assessments, they call them elective, meaning that you are giving 2 opportunities to write the same assignment, but then whatever the best mark is taken, as this make sure that students are not disadvantaged, because you know that in continuous assessment, we've got no formal examination, as well as we've got no supplementary examination when it comes to continuous assessment. So and then the structure of assessment, the most important thing is that you need to know the weight of each assessment and know what its contribution is towards the final mark. Here, this side you have your year mark, this side you have the the a final mark. So you need to know the contribution of that. And also you must know if your assignment is mandatory, meaning that when it's mandatory, that it's a must that you must submit that assignment, because that assignment will also help you for exam admission. And also if it's a compulsory assignment, you need to know that if you didn't do that assessment, you might find yourself failing the whole module, because that assignment is compulsory and it's important for you to pass, as well as your elective. You must know which ones are elective, meaning which of these assessments will be used for the highest mark. And then also, you must also know, as I said, the ones that are important for exam admission, because sometimes students, they don't look at their tutorial matter, and then you find that you opt to write assignment number 2 or assignment number 3, but the most important one is your assignment number 1, because it's set before the exam admission. So always check your assessment to see when is exam admission, as well as which assignments are important for the exam admission. And then also you must know the modules which are in the timetable and those that are out of timetable. The one in the timetable will have a formal exam, but the one out of timetable, it will be your portfolio, it will be your practical, as well as your project. So that will help you when you go onto your module site to see the type of examination that every module will have. Okay, and then the type of assignments that we have, firstly, we've got the file uploads. It means that it's your written assessment that you upload. And then you've got your quizzes, which is your multiple choice questions. With the multiple choice questions, it means that once you log on the system to take that MCQ, you must be logged on until you finish your assessment. You can log off maybe if you are not finished, as long as the due date has not passed, and then you can come back to do your MCQ. But there you are logged onto the system all the time in order for you to take your quiz assessment. And then you also have forums and workshops. With the forums, you are asked to paste on a discussion platform. The lecturer will send you questions, and then you will respond on the system with whatever input that is required, and that is your assignment. So it's very important to, as you start the semester, to check what kind of assessment do you have. And then the assignment submission process, that is for your uploads, your written ones or your typed ones. Firstly, it's submission, and then after you have submitted, the assessment will be marked, and then after it has been marked, you will get your feedback. You are entitled to get feedback, and you must get your marked file back to you on the module side, as well as you will get an SMS or a link where you can check and download your assignments so that you can see the areas to improve. You can see the areas where you did well, as well as the general feedback that is coming from the lecturer. And then once the assignment is marked and is released to you, then the system is updated. Also, when you go on the My Admin, you can, on My UNISA, My Admin, you can be able to see your mark, to say what mark did I get for this assignment. And then once you have completed the assignment submission process, your year mark is going to be calculated, and then at the same time, you will we will do exam admission, and then as well as then that is when you will get your timetables, and then you prepare for your examination. So you need to understand the criteria for the exam admission. Sometimes with other modules, you just have to submit an assignment. It doesn't matter what the mark that you got, as long as you submit it. With others, the tutorial letter will say 2 or more assignments, which are compulsory and have to be submitted for you to get exam admission. With other modules, the postgrad, then it will say you need to pass your assignment at least by a certain percentage for you to get exam admission. So don't be too stressed. Just check your tutorial letters as well as your module site to see the criteria for exam admission. Okay, important thing on assignments that all formal assignments have a due date. Always know what is the due date. That is on the module side as well as on the tutorial letter. And also I've already mentioned that each assignment has a year mark and a weight, and I advise you, submit all your assignments just to be on the safe side, as well as you must get your marked assignment back. Okay, the tips is that you must register and pay on time. And as a UNISA student, you must be friends with your site, your module site. You must be friends with your module site. It's your classroom, because in UNISA, we are distance learning. We are not in contact with the students on a daily basis. You know, in a residential university, the students go to class every day. So with us, every day, go onto your site so that you can check general things, things that change, because things change continuously. The due dates, sometimes they change due to external factors. And if you don't go into your module site every day, you're going to miss a lot of information. So you must be friends with your module site. So like the way we check our WhatsApps and everything, you must check your module site in that way. Know the tag letter. What does it say? The module purpose, the outcomes, and the expectations. Always know when you are being assessed what is required of you. You know, sometimes you look at an assignment and you think you can write it quickly, but at the end you realize, I missed the point. And some of the lecturers will always give you an assessment guide to say, when I'm going to mark this assignment, I'm going to look at these factors. So make sure that if they say introduction, a body, referencing and what, make sure that you pay attention to those matters. And also plan on your assessment before time, and you must know the due dates and plan around them, and always submit before the deadline. And if you don't understand anything, always consult your lecturer. So my advice to you is that now that you are a registered student, the first thing, for your planning, the time management, is to go onto your tutorial matter. Write down exactly how many assessments are required for you, and also what are the due dates of those assessments. Also know whether it's in file upload or is in MCQ, because if it's an MCQ, then it means that you need, when you go onto the system, you need to be prepared to take that assessment throughout until you finish it. Or as I said, you can stop maybe for a while and then come back again. And then if it's a file upload, prepare yourself to say you need to do your research, you need to consult whatever sources that you must consult, and then you need now to write and upload that particular assessment. If it's a discussion forum, you need to know the topic, and then you can get more information about it, and then so that you can be able to contribute meaningfully to your discussion, because you will get marks for that. And also, make sure that when it comes to submission, make sure that the content is correct. Sometimes the students submit maybe receipts or medical certificates or what, and then you think it's your assignment, and then you find out later when you get a 0 that actually you submitted the incorrect content. So make sure that your content is correct, and you must keep the proof of submission. When you submit, the system will give you a confirmation. Please keep that. The other thing, colleagues, student, is the issue of plagiarism and academic dishonesty. I'm hoping that a workshop will be organized again for you to be taught on plagiarism and academic dishonesty. This is totally unacceptable. And also students submitting similar assessment. I believe that as UNISA students, you want integrity. You want to be proud that I graduated from UNISA, as it has been, our leaders, most of them graduated from UNISA, and they are very proud of their achievements. So we want to keep that as students. So also students submitting similar assessment is not allowed. UNISA now, since we are online, we are introducing tools in order to make sure that these things don't happen. And sometimes it's very negative for the students, because once you are flagged that you are involved in any of this, you will go through disciplinary, and you can be suspended from studying at UNISA for 5 years. And I mean, remember of your dream, remember of your vision. If you are not sure of any content, discuss it rather with your supervisor, with your lecturer, so that you can know the content and be able to do that assessment. And then the last thing is your exam admission. As I said, don't worry about exam things now. It will be discussed later with you. For now, worry about submitting your assignment. And as I said, you will get admission to the examination, which is based on assessment. So the assignments are very, very important, students. Don't underestimate, don't overlook them. Just make sure that you do assignments. And then once to us, like there in September, we will do the exam admission program. And once that is done, you will get your dates, you get your timetable, and also you will know already whether your type of assessment, whether it's a formal timetable exam where you sit and you write, where it's also invigilated, or is it a portfolio, a project which you will have to submit at a certain date, or it's continuous assessment whereby all your assignments contribute towards your final marks. So it's very important. And some of the exams are proctored, as I said. I hope that when we're doing the preparation for examination, we will tell you about the proctoring. Don't worry about it now, because you will confuse yourself and you'll give yourself unnecessary anxiety. When the time is right, we will take you through the processes of how we do our invigilation online. And also the other important thing is that if you are asked to do a mock exam, which is a test site, you go onto the site, you pretend like you are writing your actual examination. That helps you so that you anticipate what is going to happen when you write your actual. That the student come to write the exam, they are not ready, they are not prepared, they haven't seen the invigilation tool, and it becomes daunting and very stressful, and you end up not performing well, not because you are not prepared for the content, but you are not prepared for the logistics that go on with your exams. And we've got support to our students for any assignment related issues. You can send your email to assign@unisa.ac.za, and as well as for we do have a toll free number, which is our call center. You can contact at any point in time for you to get clarity concerning anything, your due dates, assignments. If there's no content or anything, there's nothing on the system, whatever assignment related issues, please don't hesitate to contact us, and we will give you the necessary support and assistance. And with that said, students, thank you very much for listening. I'm available to respond to any questions that you may have concerning the content that I discussed with you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I would like to call upon, last but not least, Mr. Xolile Gaba to come tell us how to upload assignments and ICT-related matters. Welcome, Mr. Xolile.
So where I'm coming in is to once again run you through the most important tool that you can ever have when you are a student at UNISA, and that is what we call your MyUNISA. So as we all know, it's accessible through either the web or through a computer. These days, you can also download it as an app in your phone. So if it's in your phone, I always say, I have MyUNISA in my pocket. So the focus area for this session is MyUNISA and my modules, and I think a little bit of my life, because that is where most of the communication also comes through to you when we invite you for workshops. My name is Xolile Gaba. So TEL in the program stands for Technology Enhanced Learning, and I am based at Ekurhuleni. So our role basically in the Technology Enhanced Learning unit is to give you support in your technology-related challenges that you do experience through the course of your studies. So for today, as I said, we are looking at MyUNISA as well as my life. My life will probably just be a very short, because there's not much there, but it's really just to remind you that you need to make sure you go through your My Life accounts on a regular basis. So as I move to the next slide, my agenda is to look at the following items. So it is really to show you how you will navigate through your MyUNISA, my modules. And okay, we're not going to cover my exams, as Ms. Nyandeni has indicated. This will be left out for for the next round when we do exam preparations. And then we will look at my life. Because we are a technology unit, it is also important for us to share with you the Microsoft Office 365 productivity apps that you can use to your advantage during the course of your studies. And we also want to give you an idea of the kind of devices that you may have or might have to buy when you are studying online with UNISA, and a bit of our training programs and the regional support services that we do offer. Okay, so my first bit is to go through my UNISA with you, just to show you how my UNISA works. In the event that you haven't familiarized yourself, or you have used it for a long time but are not yet that confident, just to give you an idea of what my UNISA basically does. On the orange side, it says it is the official student portal for study-related information and to access the learning management system. So our learning management system is what we call my UNISA. And mostly, I think, throughout your course, your big focus here is to look at my modules. And we also have what is called administrative portal within my UNISA, and that's the MyAdmin portal. That will be delved into a bit of detail as I go through the presentations. On the right side, where you see the blue, we will have a look at My Life, and that is our official UNISA email account for all communication with UNISA and your lecturers. And only, I think that is one thing you must highlight, only emails from your My Life account will be accepted. So if you use your Gmail account, chances of you being responded to are almost 0 or 1%, because we must prioritize. I think Fatwani spoke about us having to prioritize what is important. So as employees of the institution, when we make our when we prioritize, we look at, firstly, is there something in the subject line like a student number, and is it coming from what is officially recognized by the institution, which would be My Life? If so, we start entertaining those kind of emails. Anything from another email account gets to the bottom of our list. We might not get to it. So it could be an eliminate, like Fatwani was saying when he was presenting. And it should take about 24 hours for your My Life account to get activated if you are a new student. But if you're already existing, you already have a My Life account. Please have a look at the example below of how your My Life email account should look like. So it starts with your student number at mylife.unisa.ac.za and nothing else, because if you make it something else, you might not be able to access your My Life account. And so for those of you who haven't accessed your My UNISA accounts or don't know how to register or how to use it, what you do is you'll see I have a number 1 there. You first of all has to go onto a internet browser, which in most cases will be Google Chrome, and that's what you'll enter there, www.unisa.ac.za. It should give you a homepage similar to this. I know my UNISA has been upgraded very recently. There's not much of a change on the UNISA page. So you will still have a homepage similar to what I have here. And if you look to the right, top right of your screen, it's always in small and orange. It will read My UNISA. If your eyesight is not as good as mine, then you come down to almost the center of your screen. To the right of that, you'll have it in big. It's written My UNISA. So you can click on any one of the two there to access your My UNISA account. And this is now, if it is your first time, then you will claim your My Life account. Obviously, you'll have to come to click on Claim Login. That will be the first step. And then once you've claimed login, you are now required to enter your student number, which is your second step. Your third step requires for some personal information here. And then finally, also that's the second step. The third step then needs you to just do some acknowledgements, that I do agree that and then acknowledge. Number 5 is once you've clicked on acknowledge, you get a screen like what I have at number 5. Here you will now be shown what your My Life email address is. That's an example of a student's My Life email address. And it will also tell you and us what is the phone number we have on the system as UNISA. So if that phone number here doesn't appear as what yours is supposed to be, then something is wrong and you need to have it updated at the student admin department or unit. And your password will be also shown to your screen for you, as well as SMSed to your phone. It's always case sensitive and it will be small letters, numbers, capital letters at the end. A lot of you make the mistake of taking it down incorrectly. Then you struggle to log into my UNISA because then it says your login credentials are invalid. It might be because you have entered the password incorrectly, or when it asks you to enter a username, many of you seem to get confused there. It must be a student number. Then you should be able to get signing in. So there you see username 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the password is what we have just received when we registered for or claimed our MyUNISA login. Right, so now that you have it and it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, a month later, or within the time, 2, 3 days later, because not everybody remembers stuff all the time. If you forget the password, you still go the same route that we went when we claimed. There's an option for you to click on Forgotten UNISA Password. Then it'll just get you to redo the process of providing your details, and eventually the password is SMSed to your phone, and you can now log in with that password. Okay. And once logged in, you will have in the new MyUNISA, it's a little bit different, but your My Modules is still there, and My Modules 2021, my admin is still there. So here it says My Modules 2022, but we need to just ignore 2022 because it's only going to read My Modules. And that's where we want to play when we are going on to MyUNISA. 90% of the time, or 99% of the time, you want to be busy at My Modules because this is where your learning will take place. And occasionally, when you want to change your password, go to check your academic record, or that you want to do something administrative, you will come to My Admin. And so here, when you're in MyUNISA, we have different portals, which is My Modules 2021, and My Admin explained to you here as the official student portal for students, where you can access your module resources, your assignments, interact with other students and with your e-tutor or group. So that will happen under your My Modules. We will the blue My Modules is just to get you into the orange, and then you are able to actually access your modules. Okay, so we now have, I'm sure you guys know, in July, for about a week, the system was off because the MyUNISA was upgraded, or the learning management system was upgraded. Every one of you are now seeing the new MyUNISA when you log in, and I hope you're enjoying the new experience because it's a fantastic look for me. I like it. The previous one, had a couple of changes made, hence we now have a new one. So like I said to you, for the My Admin option, you will do your administrative work here. It gives you access and you can update personal information except for your phone number that was recently deactivated. You will have to go in to a branch if you need to make a change to your phone number because of a hacking that is taking place currently. You can also see your academic information and so forth. Okay, and it gives you, I think, just a more detailed view of what is happening under My Admin. Your academic record, once you've written exams, is going to be available to you there. So you will find it there, and you can use that academic record because it is official. So what you will do is, once you've opened it, you email it to yourself, to your My Life account, and once it gets there, it comes out with the official letterhead as well as the stamp of UNISA. So you don't actually have to go into a branch to go and get an academic record printed if you go and do it here. As for your biographical details, that's where you set your personal information. You have seen that the password is quite complex. So if you feel or wish to change that password, this is where you come to MyAdmin, change password, and you can change that password. The password will sync with your MyLife, so you use the same password on MyUNISA as well as on MyLife. During the course of a semester, you still have an option to edit your registration. Maybe you want to remove a module, or you want to add another module. Provided registration is still open, you can do it under edit registration. You can also see how much you owe, or you know what your financial details are. Parcel tracking for study material. And if you are looking to take out modules, you can take out your quotation there as well. Right, and so as it continues, your assignments and examination information can also be seen here. Under MyAdmin, there's usually a table there that shows all the modules, but that's more of a fixed table, because when assignment dates are changed, on this table that you find under MyAdmin, it doesn't easily or change the same time as what happens within the module. So the best advice we always give to students is, if you want to see whether the assignment dates of your particular modules have changed, rather go into My Modules and go look there, because that's where you will see the most recent date there. Your examination results you're going to find here as well. And because exams are going to be in a few months' time, you will come here when you want to see your examination timetable. It might first be a preliminary timetable. Hence, I think Ms. Nyandeni said, make it a habit to regularly go and have a look at your MyUNISA. So then you come also to MyAdmin and check if there had been any updates to your examination timetable. You could have seen today that on the 15th of October, I'm writing, and in a week's time, the 15th of October could have been changed to the 20th of October for whatever the external or technical reasons may be from the side of the university. So that is why you shouldn't see your examination timetable as cast in stone. You have to visit it regularly, as much as you have to visit your assignments and their due dates on a regular basis, please. Righty, so that's what it will look like when you change your password. You'd have gone to MyAdmin and change password management. Yeah, your old password is the complex one, your new password, and repeat the new password, submit. The password is now updated, and you can now access your MyUNISA with a new password. Okay, now the next part that we are looking at is the most important. That's where you're playing in 90% of the time. So what I just covered was your MyUNISA, you signing into MyUNISA, and having access to these tools for you to be able to participate in the course. So now under MyUNISA, you have almost 3 sites. Not all the time. Some of you will have 3 sites when you log into your My Modules. The official site will be your module that you've registered for, which will, in this example, read course 3701 stroke the year 2013 stroke semester 1, but we are now in the 2nd semester, so it should read semester 2. That means you are registered for that module in this semester. So in this site, the lectures has control of, and it is where you can access your official study material as well as submit your assignments. Some modules have got a tutor assigned to it. So then it will be a site that will have your module code, the year, the semester, but then it will end with a number and the letter E. So when you see that, you know this module has got an e-tutor. So the e-tutor is really there to guide you, because the lecturer is not wouldn't be there all the time. That's why they appoint the e-tutor. They have other work they are busy with too. Then you would mostly communicate with the e-tutor. You get your guidance through for your assignments by the e-tutors, but during marking processes and when the assignments are actually prepared or set for you to do, the person who is the owner of the main site does that. So most of your work is found under the official site. You will speak to the e-tutor in terms of advice, in terms of guidance of the module, but you need to still get back to the official site when you are submitting your assignments. some modules which are signature modules would have a group site. So it will be like your EUPs, SJDs, it's about 6 of them. They will have everything the same as what I have shown in the eTutor site, but where you have an E, it will now be a T, I think. So it will be a number T. So now you know you are grouped to a particular group number 1 or 25 and so forth. There too is where you will have a teaching assistant. So the T is standing for teaching assistant, who then will guide and advise you for that particular module. But there will always be an official site for that module. Right, and this is what your MyUnisa dashboard should look like. Just to give you an explanation of what you see in front of you is called. So this part, the top part of it, is called the header and navigator bar. Your left is your left navigation blocks. Then in the middle is the main content area. Your right is the information blocks or your calendar. This calendar is used by lecturers to show you what is the due dates of assignments. You as a student can also use this calendar as you plan for your studies. That you would, if you have an assignment due in January the 28th, you could start planning around the 4th till the 21st and see what other activities that you will be covering before the 28th of January for your assignment. So please do go into the calendar and do add your activities of studying certain chapters, for instance, because nowadays with the new MyUnisa, the assignments are not available as you register. You will only see that they say to you the start date of the assignment will be on the 15th of August and the end date is the 30th of August. So only from those dates will you access the assignment. But before the time, many of you are probably asking yourself, what is it that I should be doing? Because I can't access the assignment. The answer is very simple. Start going through your learning material to understand what is the material or the units that you got to go through in preparation for that assignment. So they might say go through chapters 1, 2, 3. So you need to start studying chapters 1, 2, 3, plan around that so that when it comes to the 20th or the 30th of August for the due date, you are ready to do the assignment. Because nowadays our assignments are timed, or most of them are timed for an hour, maybe 40 minutes. So if you are in the culture of thinking that I'm going to open my learning material on the day that they open the assignment and I will use my book to do the assignment, you are in for a big surprise, because you may not be able to complete your assignments in 40 minutes because you had not prepared for that or within the given hour of that particular assignment. So if I go into my modules or the orange, I click on it, that's called my modules menu, then it'll display to me the modules I am currently registered for. Right here, I am registered for INF 2611-2022, and the Y means it's a year module. If you look to the right of your screen, that is called your user menu. Now, by this one is where you can go and make a profile update. I think if you haven't done that, it might be the most convenient time for you to start doing that now. So by a profile update is where you would have to upload your picture, your most recent picture, which is mostly needed during the course of exams, because they need to sort of ascertain the picture on the profile against the one that they see on screen when you write the examination. So if you click profile, it gives you this option here. There's edit profile, and under edit profile, you should be able to come and put up your picture here by files. You click files, you upload the picture, it goes up there, and you can now put up your picture, which will go to sit there. So every time you sign into your MyUnisa account, your most recent picture that you have uploaded will sit there. Right, and as you go through the semester and you do your assignments, you might want or have interest in knowing how you are progressing through these assignments. So if you come then to grades, that's still under your My Modules, and you choose your course. Here we've chosen visual programming. It will show you how many assignments you have. You have about 4 of them. And then it says these are the learning units that you will go through. And so if you then come to look here, once it's marked under grade, it should give you a percentage. So in this case, they haven't been marked yet. So you wouldn't be able to see what percent you have then obtained for these assignments. But this is really just to show you where you're going to come to look for your grades or for your marks. Okay, the calendar I was speaking to you about just now. Yeah, you can see the lecturer has placed for you that in May last year, the 2nd, there was a quiz that should have been submitted again on the 30th. So that will also help you to see when your assignments are due. And like I said, you use the open dates to put down your planning. That, okay, on the 4th, I want to do whichever chapter in preparation for that particular assignment, so that you would have made notes and summarized and you're ready to submit between the dates that are given on the calendar. Right, and this is your layout of your My Module. So once you're now into a module, you've clicked My Modules, you've chosen one. So here the module code is called COVID-19 1B. Now, this is what I can see under my COVID-19 1B. I can participate in discussions or in live kind of messages. Here's the grades I was speaking to you about. Your coronavirus course content is now shown to you here. That for the first week, that's what you'll cover and right up to there, right? So in your actual or true modules, you will have stuff like learning units, or official study material sections where you can go find your learning material from, or you could even find it under additional resources. So there's various places where our learning material will be made available to you for different modules. So for this particular module, they've designed it to look like this when you want to access your learning material. So you find it right under the left navigation blocks. Some modules or other modules puts it right underneath or at the section of your main content area in blocks. You then can access your material there. If you look at the right side, it gives you progress of how far you are with your learning in that particular course or module. So course progress hasn't got any bar, so they haven't started there. But as you progress through the module, the line fills up and you'll see the green will go until it's at 100%. That also helps the lecturers to see that you are indeed going through the material that was made available to you to learn, and not just jumping to the assignments before, without going through the learning material. And this is just to further on show you what the module side looks like for another module. So the previous one was for COVID-19 1B. That lecturer preferred the material to look like this. For INF 2611, the lecturer here prefers for their material to look like this on the left. So they give you all those, plus your assignments are here, and any learning material you got to go through is also there. If you don't prefer that part, you come to the main content. Everything that is on the left is also here. So you choose what is easy for you to use when you prepare for the learning material. And to the right side of my screen is just to give you an idea of what it is that you can do under that site of the module. For official site of the lecture, your announcements will come up there somewhere. So there will be an option there for announcements. Your activities, here are your activities, which are the assignments, stuff that you need to learn, informal, formal assessments, and your official study material you will also find right here by the left pane, or here at the main body or main part of the screen. Prescribed material, there's usually an option for it there on the left, and your discussion forums can also be done there. Okay, so that's just to show you, if you click on prescribed material, that it'll tell you what is the book you need to get for it. Should it not be updated on here, then your responsibility as a student is to consult your tutorial letter 101, and here it will give you a comprehensive list of study books that you must buy and where you can buy them from. Your official study material will contain the following. So if you click it, that's the view of it. It should have, in some cases, or most cases, your course overview, assignments, and assignment feedback. If they're not there, I have shown you earlier on where you will then find the assignments, which would just be, you know, placed there on the left pane view of your my modules. Okay, past examination papers are not really placed on here any longer, but your study guides for modules that does not require for you to buy a prescribed book will have study guides. So you would then have to prepare for that assignment through the study guides. Okay, any announcements that are made by the lecturer will be placed at announcements. That is also why it is important for you to make your my modules your friend. Ms. Nyandeni couldn't have said it any better. Make it your friend. You must see it every single day. Go to your announcement, check your assignments. Are there any changes? And so forth. Okay, so that will basically come under discussions. It will tell you when it was started, when it was posted, how many replies it has. So if you click on it, you can see how the conversation or discussion may have gone if it had an option for any discussion to take place there. Right now, in terms of the assessments that Ms. Nyandeni was showing you or speaking to you about, we have online or course activities, which will look like this when you do it. So usually, it'll say here where it says this quiz opened at, so it tells you when it opens and the time. It'll also tell you the date and time that it will close, right? But earlier on I said, if you don't see it before the time, what must you do? You need to go through your learning so that you prepare towards that particular assignment you are anxiously waiting to open on the 15th. My example was the 15th of August. So before the 15th of August, you start going through the material, and come the 15th of August, usually it'll be open for a couple of days. You can already access it from that day. So if you don't access it on the 15th of August and it's due on the 20th of August, you still have the 16th until the 20th to go in there and you go do your assignment, which is a quiz. So yeah, it's just a question, 4 options. You choose the correct answer. You go next page for the next answer, or you go to the right pane of that window that will appear. It gives you options to click from there. Whatever works for you is what you are going to use. Right, so in the event of a written assignment or a typed assignment, which means you needed to do it in Microsoft Word, typed it out, saved it with whatever the formatting it should have been for that. And I think in most instances, the assignment must be converted to PDF in order for it to go through and get submitted. So you would go to click on the option that will be available for you to upload, and it'll give you this window. If you press on file, you choose the file and you will upload it here. Then you can save changes and your written or typed assignment becomes uploaded. Don't forget to make it PDF. The discussion assignments or forum assignments are the ones that you do on screen. So you need to be connected to the internet for this, as well as for the quiz assignments. But for the written assignments, you are easily able to download the question paper and do it without internet connection. Save it. Only when you're finished, you go to submit. But with this one, please make sure you have reliable and stable connection so that you don't get kicked off or out while you are typing this assignment. My advice or other advice I give to students when they do discussion assignments is, if you can take the questions from the discussion itself, copy to a Word document, and then you type them out in Word. So to save yourself data and the inconvenience of having load shedding and network failures and stuff, that you find your work getting lost. So if you rather type it out in Microsoft Word, because you've taken the questions already out of the discussion forum, and once you completed it, you copy those answers you have typed out, you come to your discussion forum where it says add new topic. You will always be told what the topic should be or what it must be called. Then you'll type that in. Here is where your reply comes, and you will paste it here and you press reply. So if you paste it in there and you go to say post to forum, your assignment is now submitted. Some of them requires for you to have some engagement with other students. Then you will do that only after you have submitted your initial draft for other students you can also view. Okay, and then what I was saying to you earlier on is that you can have my modules in your pocket. So if you want to do that, you just go to your phone through your Google Play or whatever you are using as a method, and you will quickly just download my modules to your phone. And if it's on your phone, it's not a matter of signing in, it's open like it was done, or you can do with your banking apps these days, right? Then you have it in your pocket, or you can also just access it on the computer. But please try this; you will love it. It's fantastic to have. Okay, I'm almost finished, program director. I'm aware that my time is actually up, but this is, I think, my almost last bit. My life is your email account, students, that you must please ensure that you go to. So you go the same route like you go to my NISA. You have an option for My Life email there to please click on, and then it'll ask for the email address. Remember, it was given to you when you claimed your My Life account. You will enter it here, press next, and then your password is the same as my NISA. It opens your emails like this. Now you will see a lot of emails haven't been read here. Please make sure you do read yours regularly. And we will also use this to send you invites on a regular basis. And yeah, over the last 2 minutes, my apologies. The last 2 minutes here, I want to just quickly speak to you about what is called Microsoft 365. Here is where you do online or cloud-based productivity platform. And these are what we have for you. It's quite a lot of things, and I will need so much time to take you through them. But what you will mostly use is MS Teams. You are actually connected to it now. And you can also use what we have Word, the collaborative one, the one that you collaborate on, which is the online version. We also can install for you the Office 365. So these are what you will mostly use as a student. These ones here, Outlook, you can see all of them. If you don't have them, we can have them installed for you. If you do have them, good, use them well. Let them be working for you. Don't forget to use OneDrive. You can store your stuff in there as much as you wish to. And these are the advantages of using the online Office 365, there where you can collaborate and so forth. My time is up, so I thank you very much, Chairperson, and my apologies for taking up so much of your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think you have clarified many questions that the students may have had about my modules. I mean, they walk through our offices and come and ask us for help. And thank you for having that service available to the students.
All right, so during the previous presentation, there was a slide that said that regarding the My Modules app, it can be downloaded, but I shouldn't download the Moodle app. And yet in the previous semester, that's what I downloaded and used the majority of the time, and I still have it to this day. So should I delete it, or should I keep it and download the Modules app as well?
Now, Mr. Moketwa, you know why that message was put down there? Because the My Moodles is actually the platform on where My Modules is sitting. So there was a big confusion, as you say, in the last semester of which one must be downloaded. I hear that you are saying it has been working for you last semester. If it's still working for you, you continue with it. But once it starts giving you problems, then you will have to download the My Modules app. Okay, but if it is working for you, please proceed with it. I don't want to confuse you now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the time management workshop. It was very informative, and some of the contents that was presented by the speakers would be applied personally on my life and in terms of my academic life as well. The question that I had was for Mr. Gaba with regards to my life, the email address. There are times whereby emails are delayed, and I don't know if I'm the only one, but I get them after some activities would have taken place. I don't know what could be the delay in terms of me receiving emails on my end from lecturers. Can you please share what could be the cause and how it can be fixed? Because it has happened quite a lot in the last few days, and I've missed some important information that could have been that could have saved me in some of my assignments even. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Lebohang, for your question. Most of the time, these delays are caused by network load shedding. But if it is occurring too often with you, you might just have to make contact with me. I'm going to leave my email address and contact number. Then we can try and schedule a session via Teams and try and work over it together. But what you must also try and do is to try and keep an eye on your announcements, because so for every module there is announcements. If you click on announcements there, usually that information that is on announcements is transferred over to your emails as well. So it is almost a duplication of what you already have on announcements. So if you are scared that you're going to miss something on your emails, just keep an eye on the announcements. You might find that information there, because that is usually updated before it transfers over to your emails. But yeah, in terms of us having to look at it, I'm going to drop my email address and contact number for you.
My question is for Mr. Gaba. I've been trying to upload a picture on my profile, and it keeps saying I need to update user profiles. So I don't know what that is about. If I can just get clarification on that, thank you.
Thank you, Kanyisile. The picture, I think when I covered it, I didn't mention this. What they have said is the profile picture option is almost sort of deactivated at this stage. So I think in due course, closer to the examinations, that option might become activated, because it's mostly relevant or important for exams. When you go to the exams, then they would like to see your picture there. But during the semester for assignments, it's fine even if it's not there as yet. So just closer to the exam, please try to upload your profile picture. Thank you.
How do I minimize a big file when I uploading it, and which app I use to minimize a big file?
Okay, so a big file. I'm wondering why it is that big, but you can compress the file, or maybe we can even use I love PDF to try and compress it so that it can be small enough for the purpose that it is required for. But Isaiah, because your question is almost designed for your problem, may I ask you, if you don't mind, to on the chat I have dropped down my contact number as well as my phone number, that you can make contact with me so we can have a look at what the actual problem is behind your file being too big. I thank you.
Okay, thank you.
At this point, I would like to invite Ms. Sharon Tebele to come do the vote of thanks and closing for us. Thank you, Ms. Sharon.
Good morning or good day, colleagues, students, and thank you so much for joining us for the time management workshop. I must say that it was really educational, and I always say that every time I attend this kind of workshops, there's always something I pick up from the presenters. I would like to thank Ms. Dipale, one of our own. Thank you so much for welcoming our student, and also for giving us and outlining the purpose of why we were gathered here today. Very much appreciation goes to you. And also Mr. Makahane, he was presenting about time management, one of our own as well, from the counseling department. And I must say that you need to always have a plan. And let's all utilize time effectively for our own benefits. Simple as that. And thank you to Ms. Nyendeni from the Directorate of Student Assessment and Administration, which is DSAA, for delivering such a presentation on assignments. It's so frustrating to see students frustrated about their first assignments and how it is crucial for them to submit it for the exam admission. Thank you for always coming through for us, and we really appreciate you. And much appreciation also goes to Mr. Xolile Gaba from Technology Enhanced Learning. These are the tools that forms a very important part of your studies as students. And thank you so much for actually always coming through as well. We are going to see each other during the exam preparation workshop as well. And much appreciation goes to the program director, Thank you so much for such a splendid job in running this program. You are actually have made this very easy and very smooth sailing. Thank you very much. And I really appreciate our VVIPs, which are our students. Thank you for joining us despite your busy schedules. You made time to actually have a conversation with us concerning time management. Thank you very much. Back to you, our beautiful program director.